Sometimes I just let you do that because it's funny.
In this video, we are going to look back at all the old house designs.
There's been multiple designs and multiple changes, but today we decided to show you where our inspiration for this house design came from.
We're going to mark it on the pad, and then we're probably going to promptly go and change a bunch more stuff. And we're going to go to some friend's house. They have a huge Hyperadobe building. They got all the walls up. We're going to get some more ideas before we officially decide on a layout. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
When we first moved here, our original plan was domes.
Yeah.
However, after lots of research and looking at other domes, we decided we really want roofs.
Yeah, mostly for rainwater catchment, because we need water.
But we want to keep the circular form because we love the way that it feels when you walk into a circular building.
Also, that circular shape is very structurally sound. Like if you do long, flat walls, you have to buttress them. But with circles, they kind of pull in on themselves and they're a lot stronger.
But we did want flat walls. So when we came across Willow and Roundhouse on Instagram, we were all like, this is it.
That idea.
Yeah.
We're not going to copy it, but like this idea of multiple circles that use walls to separate the rooms as internal buttresses seem like a really genius idea.
Yeah, so we based our idea off the Willow and Roundhouse, but have changed several things.
Just
a lot of things. And we're going to show it to you now.
We have so many attempts at this thing. We got old drawings, old sketches. Here's a couple of Illustrator drawings, because being from a graphic design background, that's usually where I start, is just drawing things out in Illustrator. This is like what we call the angel version. This one had like a big entryway in the middle and like a full ceiling around the whole thing, so it was fully enclosed. This was also fully enclosed, but we kept coming back to this idea of having a courtyard in the middle of it. So then I had to start translating things. We needed to get it in 3 dimensions, so I had to learn SketchUp. So this was a whole other part of the process. So you can see I started messing with SketchUp. I don't even know what's going on here. Started laying out some walls, but really, eventually, this is kind of what we ended up with. Well, it's time to start marking the house out. Can you believe it?
We are ready. It all starts with the tape measure.
With the tape measure. There's a lot of circles. It's weird. This beginning part's going to be a little slow going.
Yep.
But once we get the circles dialed in, then hopefully things will go a little faster. Wish us luck. Center point has been acquired.
Yeah. And are you even an earthbagger if you don't mark things with a bag of flour?
Flour's the first go, just to make sure everything's good, and then we'll actually like paint it. But
yeah, we're using flour so that like if we are like, oh, that's not the right way, we'll just dust it off and do it again. And then we'll come back with paint and do it the right way.
Such a high-tech method we're using. So what was the first change we immediately made once we started spray painting circles?
Well, even before we started spray painting circles, we were like, why the heck do we have 3 external different sizes circles?
That's right. We had the kitchen and living room, which is the big one, which is always going to be bigger. But then we had all these other rooms, all the kids' rooms, utility room. And then our room, we wanted to be like the master. So we made it like bigger. But we're like, why is it bigger? Like, it wasn't that much bigger.
So we were like, let's just simplify it. Let's extend the kids' rooms and shorten our room and make it one cohesive circle.
Yeah, so now, according to SketchUp, when I select all the floors inside, now we're up to 2,300 square feet.
Guys, this is a big change because I wanted to stay around 1,000 square feet.
But you do realize your kitchen's about 1,000 square feet.
Yeah. So we made some changes. The house is a lot bigger than we originally planned on, but we're very excited because all of the kids want to be in this house. So I'm embracing that, and I'm going to hold on to that as long as possible.
Yeah, and that way they get more room. Like, they get bigger rooms. Just like, ta-da, you got bigger rooms.
Yeah, same size as ours.
No, ours is still bigger.
Okay.
It's the big one.
Okay.
This is the horse test?
Yeah.
Do the horses fit in the house?
We have to make sure horses can fit in the living room.
Well, okay, we're good.
Multiple horses. While Jonathan's finishing marking off where the trenches will be for the circle parts of the house, we have to decide where we want a straight wall that is our kitchen wall, because this whole house design is based specifically off the kitchen view.
This big wall is what faces towards the mountains. It's like the kitchen and the living room area. And we got this really cool hallway that goes all the way through and lets you access all the different rooms. So the kids' rooms are all right here. This is where our laundry, utility, and bathroom are. And then our bedroom over here, which has another bathroom in it. So I'm going to turn on my framed walls. We realized that we needed to not just have all Earthbag walls. We needed to have some framed walls we could run stuff up through to make things a little simpler. So the pantry here in the kitchen will be framed. This wall here for the bathroom will be framed. This is for the utility room, and then this is for the bathroom in our bedroom. Now we don't have the walls up yet, but the idea is going to be that the middle circle will be higher than the outer circle, and so the roof will pitch to the outside all the way around, and we'll use that for water catchment. It's probably a little hard to visualize, and it was really hard for us, and that's why we got it in SketchUp, so we could actually add like physical things in the space to see what it feels like. So just to give you an idea, this is not like the actual furniture we'll be using, but this is how we've been sort of planning this area. So in here, this is the kitchen. Again, that big back wall, there's going to be a big window right here. The door out to the patio. We've got a big kitchen island, stove, refrigerator, and then a kitchen table that will kind of slide under there and then pull out when we need it. Ashley really wants a wood stove. We've got a big couch right here that we'll have a TV on the wall so we can all actually watch TV together, because we can't do that right now. Now over here, these walls will be up. Like we said, this is a pantry, and so it'll just be an open door you can walk in with a bunch of shelves and stuff on the back. And then on the outside of that is Adelaide's coffee bar. She really wanted to have a place where she could make fancy coffee, so we're going to build in a little sink here, a place for an espresso machine. And then right around the corner is where the doorway is. This is the entryway. So you got kind of this little enclosed space, And also we're going to bring the bag wall out around because we learned from the solar shed, you want to protect your entryway as much as possible. So this is actually north facing, and usually all the rain comes this way. So with an overhang and a buttress wall, hopefully that'll keep that area nice and dry. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, because you were talking about that kitchen wall that points towards the mountains, it's like the main thing, right? Mm-hmm. The thing about a circular building like this is that once you have your center point, you can kind of take that whole thing and you can twist it and you can move it. And so that's why we had to spend so much time getting that wall right, because that's what we measured everything else off of.
If we change our minds, can we change the leaves back to colors we remember? 'Cause I look for you, you look for me, in my little red suspenders. I call for you now in the forest around, when the whole world is falling apart. The truth almost found, for the sun would go down, but mom would say home before dark each night.
You ready?
More spray paint.
What are we marking now?
Everything. That's why we need so much spray paint. So whose idea was it to make this building such a weird shape? That was not my idea. It's so weird. It's making...
I like the shape. It's just really hard to measure things.
There's no way to get regular measurements on anything. We're having to go back and forth between the 3D model and what's out on the ground to see if we're right.
There is a way, we just
we
didn't
don't know
do it.
how.
Once we laid out where all the bedrooms are and the walls, we immediately switched things again. Because of where our septic is, we want to keep things as straight as possible and not have to make weird turns.
Yeah, so the way it was set up, and this was also because we didn't quite know how the whole building was going to turn, and so by the time we got it set up and we're like looking at the septic and we're like, that line's going to come out and it's going to go like at a 90, like down to the septic tank, which is not good. No, not good. We thought about it a lot and we came up with a simple solution. We just switch stuff.
Yeah, so we have moved 2 kids' bedrooms over next to the other 2 kids' bedrooms and the mudroom where those 2 bedrooms were. That way it's a straight shot from all of our utilities to the septic.
Now, the one thing we did lose, which we're really sad about, is Ada's room was right next to the pantry.
She had a dream.
She wanted this little crawl-through space so she could sneak into the pantry and get snacks.
That was her one request, and we were going to honor it. But then this happened.
But, here's what we're going to do. Her room is going to be next to the mud room, the laundry room, right? So we're going to put a little mini fridge in there, a little snack area, and that way she can crawl through her hidey hole and get her snacks there.
She'll still have her tunnel that she wanted. It just won't be directly in the pantry.
Yeah. But
we're going to set her up with the good stuff.
It's good parenting right there. Coming through here, you can take the hallway to all of the rooms, like we said earlier. The first area is the bathroom. This will be what the kids use and guests will use, so the big shower in the back, toilet, vanity. On the other side of that, washer and dryer, dog washing station. This is essentially our mud room. That's why there's an exterior door and then another walk-through door here so you can just come right through. Over here in the corner, we're also going to have our utility room, which is where like our electrical panel will be, our water runs, like all that kind of stuff that we need to have hidden, but we still need to have access to. From here, as we continue around, it's just kids' bedrooms. They're all basically about 150 square feet each, and so they'll have room for a twin bed, a dresser, some sort of desk, something like that. Then as you get to the end of the hallway, we'll use that wall to buttress, but we'll also create a nice arched doorway to come into our bedroom. Our bedroom will have its own bathroom, but it'll be a framed-in wall, so we have access to everything. So shower, sink, toilet, king bed, place for a dresser, and then a nice area to sort of walk out onto the patio. So speaking of, this area sort of here and here is all going to be sort of a deck patio area, and then right out the back here is supposed to be where our swimming pond is that's attached to the berm and the swale. And finally, as part of all this, we end up with this really cool little courtyard area in the very middle of the building. So what we'll probably do is we'll bring these walls in and have a nice gate here. That way, if we need to get the dogs outside for a little bit, they'll have a nice space to run around here. Probably do some trees, some different features and stuff. I think it'll be really cool.
Today is a big adventure. We're actually going to go to what I believe is the largest earthbag structure in Arizona.
Well, at least Hyperadobe, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So our friend Clay, he was actually one of the first people we met out here when we moved, and he was the first person to introduce us to Hyperadobe bags. We didn't even know they were a thing.
Yeah.
Went to go see his place. 3 years ago, he had just finished his garage, but as of today, when we're going out, he's finished all his walls for his whole house.
And this is a very special house. It is enormous. So we're going to take you with us. You know that his house is big when you can see it from a road. Like coming up, you can just see the red bags, and it's like, wow, that's big. We have questions about plumbing and wiring and all this stuff.
Yeah, we're definitely still in research mode.
Yeah.
And so when we did the solar shed, we did the same thing. We went to Ransom Ranch, we went to Clay's, we went to a few other places, and we just observed and we asked questions. Like, we're trying to learn and gain as much knowledge and experience as we can before we break ground.
Yep. So let's go check out Clay's place.
Okay. This is Clay. He's famous for getting stung by killer bees. And also building the largest Hyperadobe house we've ever seen.
To you guys is apparently.
I don't know. I think you're still going to be bigger. Yeah. So I want to see your whole house. Will you walk us through it here and just kind of give us a quick tour? The house, yeah.
All right.
I like how you've got a lot of straight walls, but you've got a lot of like organic shapes in it too.
Well, like curved, you know, of course the curved part was so we wouldn't have to buttress everything.
You have a lot of buttresses, yeah, because you got a lot of really long,
the back,
straight walls.
I showed you the back wall, yeah, but it's for the love of buttresses, I call it.
So you're gonna have a little deck up here?
That's the plan.
I like how you use the Hyperadobe for like the steps too. All right, so is this like the front door then?
This is got them elsewhere, but there's a big double door with glass inserted one I bought used somewhere. So you'll be walking in here, and so here's going to be like a little seat to put your shoes on and off or whatever. Put an armoire right here, and put your coat in and everything.
Yeah.
This is my one attempt at an arch.
We did one of those.
I haven't had the guts to pull this out.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah. See, I didn't even realize there's a whole other room over here.
I know, I didn't see
so
it
this
either.
will be the library study. We're going to call it a study, but I'm going to put my desk in here.
Your bag work is immaculate.
Yeah.
Like, that is some serious flat walls right there.
I don't know about that.
Wow.
So pretty bad.
It looks really good.
Yeah. Especially like I was telling you how I had a lot of trouble, like, at this point when you have a lot of those, but like getting that wall to actually stay flat is so hard. The walls are very like plump. Like that's the thing. Like especially when you have a wall that's this long.
And it's hard to do when you get up to a certain height.
Yeah.
Well, I figure you got, like 14 inches you're playing with, and if you can get at least 10 inches of those 14 inches straight up and down.
Right.
Pretty straight up and down. This will be the living room, and we're not sure, but some sort of heating device in the corner there. So here's the dining room. You see my step on the back here? This is cool.
Oh, wow.
So you can see the actual drop.
I remember when we first came out, it was like 3 years ago when we came out here, and you just had like trenches that you had dug. Did you shoot all that with a laser? Like, did you start at the same ground level for everything, or did you have to adjust because of this slope?
I can say we did for both of those. So.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, we tried to, we dug the ditches, we put, big rock in the bottom.
Yeah.
And then used 3/4 PAX good, and we try to bring that up to a level.
As a starting point. On your lower layers, you said, because we do like our sandy soil, and then we add a bunch of cement to kind of create a footer. But you said you put
this stuff.
Yeah, just like rock inside of them, and didn't you put some concrete in them too?
Cement
in them, yeah. So do you know, did you do any like soil tests? Do you know what your ratio is?
I did at one point, but it's good.
It's pretty high.
Pretty good.
It's a lot higher than ours.
There is more clay, I think, than you guys have. Yeah.
Because I think for our last building, we brought in clay and we mixed it together to get probably closer to what you got here. Okay, so what's happening here with this?
We were gonna do this. It's basically a slope roof, and this is 3 bags higher than this side, so that's the slope.
Okay.
But because we got an L shape, so they're gonna be coming in here and plugging into the side of this until they get far enough away.
So what is this room back here?
It's a kitchen.
That's a kitchen.
One thing we miss from Colorado a lot is our cook stove.
Wood
and
cook
we have
stove.
it over in storage, actually a couple of them, but my wife really likes chamber stoves. It's like super insulated stoves. Sits there and cooks, you know. So you like put turkey in there, bring it up, turn it off, and wait for hours and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
We were talking about the water and stuff earlier, so you're running your water lines underground. Are you just gonna dig again, or did you say you'd already put something down in there?
Through the walls, yeah, I'll have to dig it up.
Okay.
To run the wire and pipes and everything that goes underground.
So you just dig trenches here.
And
dig down.
wires. I was gonna say also wiring. Needs a pantry.
It's a big pantry.
Wow, that's a
Oh my goodness.
big pantry.
And that's why we did the walls all the way around here, because this is supposed to be a real nice conditioned space, right?
Right. So your water heater is gonna be in the pantry.
All the other utilities are on the other side of the wall there.
How wide is this right here?
Oh yeah, I would like to know that.
Is that 4 feet?
5,
fine.
my wife says. Another slider opens up into the courtyard and everything. An outdoor kitchen, maybe one of those other chamber stoves that might come out here or something else. This is all going to be covered out to 10 feet right there. 12 feet, she says. And I got this block, but this will be the utility room.
So is that this buttress here? Is that going to close this area off? Then?
It's going to. I'm going to build a wood wall here.
All his lentils are 4x4s, but they're 4x4, like 4x4 and 4x4.
And then filler in between.
Yeah.
Are they going to be exposed?
Uh-huh.
They are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, eventually this is to be filled in too.
It will.
That will
It'll
all be
the
a
same
solid
height?
wall.
Well, I think I'm going to probably vary it a little.
No,
And right as it's open now, so we can get Kitty in and out, you know. So.
Kitty the bobcat.
Yeah.
I love the Saguaro window. That's going to be so awesome. 70 feet? Wow. So did you do every 10 feet?
Ish.
Ish. Okay.
So you've got these plywood strips,
Uh-huh.
and then you got more bags and another plywood strip.
Yeah.
So what is that for?
Well, it's kind of a wooden bond beam,
Okay.
kind of 1 foot wide, and still made sure they didn't break on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you something to strap down to. You know, and the top layer gives you something to set the beams of the house on there.
Right. So since you didn't put any cement in the bags,
Yeah.
it's only clay and sand.
Well, come here, we can show you.
Yeah.
Stuff that's been exposed for a couple years.
Right. We're worried about erosion if we don't use cement. Yeah.
3-year-old
After
bags.
years of sitting out in the sun and rain and stuff, but
It's just baked into a brick, right?
yeah, they're still usable though.
Yeah, there's still like a little bit of erosion.
It's
which
been
is-
through 3 monsoons anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, by the time you've been through 3 or 4 monsoons, by that point you will have it covered up and protected.
And you can see that some of this is now starting to rot in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, he told us it'd be like 3 or 4 years out here before they started to actually break down.
Clay, for letting us come out and steal all your ideas.
So cool.
This build is so cool, and it's 3 people that have built up those walls. It was so cool to see your progress over the last 3 years. Very inspiring.
Now, our job is to take all of this and finalize these house plans,
Yeah.
which scares me.
It scares me to have, like, we have to have this toilet in this spot. We have to have the shower drain in this spot.
We have to dig this trench for these lines and this trench for these lines because I think we're
forget
gonna.
a trench.
I know, like we're really gonna have to plan it out.
Yeah, this is why this whole stage right here is taking a long time, because it's overwhelming the amount of research we have to do to make sure things are to code, as well as just make sure we don't forget anything, because once that slab is down, the slab is down.
And we will have time. You know, we have a lot of work to do, but we want to make sure we get things under the bags that are supported and protected, because once you have a bunch of bags, that's a lot of weight, and you don't want that thing you put in there to collapse and break your water lines or your septic line or whatever.
Yeah.
We gotta get moving on this thing. Like, everybody thinks we're way far ahead.
Nope.
We're not. It's just lines on the ground right now.
Yep.
You're gonna follow along in real time with us.
There's a lot of planning behind the scenes, but we're nearing the end of it.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just time to watch the sunset and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah, we'll plan tomorrow.
We'll see you later.